Man, I had to use this one, you know?
Yeah.
Cause just holy crap, this is... I was wondering if they would have gone back to, like, this type of, like, you know, just portrayal of, like, how the virus works. They never really do. But boy, was this something jarring.
Yeah. It's also, this moment also perfectly, this moment is the beginning of my issues with this part.
Yeah. I feel like I have a good idea of what those issues probably are.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
Cause it's like, first off, like, TK is that guy in, like, every zombie media ever who gets bit and he's like, oh, I should just not tell the group.
Yep, you know exactly what my issue is with this part.
Yeah.
Nobody will talk. Nobody's gonna talk to... Everybody's keeping a secret.
Like, TK's the guy who refuses to tell people when he's been bit, and Mako's the person who's like, oh, I'm the source of the zombies all along. And they're just like, wait, what?
Hey, Mako, tell me anything. Anything at all that might give me a hint on how to fix this. I don't know anything.
Yeah. So, as before we really jump into, I do want to quickly mention, I did finish Baki. Like the anime. So, like, hey, you know there's kicks and boxing.
There's not, unless it's kickboxing.
No, but boxing totally has kicks, though, cause, you see, you kick off of the ground. So boxing, boxers kick the earth itself.
No, that's not how that works.
According to Baki, it is.
Baki's an idiot. And if he kicked anybody in any kind of official match, he should have been disqualified and lost immediately.
So there's a moment where it's like, I think, like, Muhammad Ali's, like, grandson, Muhammad Ali Jr., enters, like, an Asian, like, martial arts tournament in China.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, like, fighting a dude, and a guy's like, oh yeah, boxing's, like, so efficient, because you don't have kicking moves, so you're missing, like, all the power and range you could be getting out of your attacks. And Baki's just like, no, he's wrong. There are kicks in boxing. And Muhammad Ali Jr. is just like, yeah, I'll show you how boxers kick, okay? And he just, like, like, jumps off the ground or whatever, like, bounces into an attack and knocks him out. And he's like, yeah, that's how we kick. Oh, just this effing holy crap. Just... and, like, Majin Buu splits into Evil Buu.
Yeah.
He's, like, all gray and shriveled up. So Baki gets poisoned, and then that happens to him, basically, like, he looks like that. And they're like, oh, hey, Baki, you should enter this tournament with, like, the top Chinese fighters in the world. So that, like, if you fight like that, then you can beat the poison. A goes out as first opponent is a guy who, like, fights with poison.
So these are, like, illegal street fights, right?
This is, like, actually an official, like, tournament they're in for this arc, but it's mostly illegal street fights.
Okay.
Yeah, like, Baki goes into this, like, it's like an official martial arts tournament where the guy's, like, fighting style is just poison. And Baki, like, goes in and gets super poisoned, and he gets, like, so poisoned that the poison becomes anti-poison and it makes him stronger.
I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
And he just like he like wins the fight and he goes into the next match and the guy just goes out and he just does like a sequence of 3 very specific moves in a row and like a chain combo and like knocks him out in one go. It's like, holy crap, Baki. I think I mentioned this on Discord. There's a guy who does like Iato style like attacks with his hands. So he's doing like quick draw karate chops.
Yeah, he said something like that. Somebody puts his hands in his pockets or something.
Yeah, and they continually just refer to it as pocket hands. As opposed, it's like just this big, like, muscular black guy who's like, I'm pretty sure he's based on like Mr. Universe or something, but yeah, he's like wearing like, the bodybuilder, like, effing like thong or whatever you call it. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll milk that move. And he, like, puts his like hands in like the straps. And it looks like just so effing goofy. And it actually works. And he's like, yeah, I'll beat you with my own pocket hands. Ah, jeez. Like, this is a show where, like, Baki's dad fights Ollie Jr. And, they're, like, sizing each other up, and Baki's dad just lays flat on the ground in the middle of the fight. And he's like, oh, what are you gonna do now, huh? And he's like, this is the Ali Akari stance. It was developed to, like, thwart your father, cause, Akari laid down in the middle of the ring, and your father couldn't do a damn thing to stop him. And, like, Ollie Jr. just, like, his response is he just turns around and just walks out of the room. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'd have to fight you though if you're already on the floor. And he just leaves.
I mean, just punch down.
Yeah. So I thought I finally found out, like, one of the reasons why Baki is just so insane. And it's because, like, the mangaka will just think up scenes, and he'll just, like, refuse to not do them. So, like, you just tell her a moment where he's like, oh yeah, like, I will, like, do this big thing and have you, like, the bane of, like, the boxing fighting style or whatever. And he does it, but he's like, oh, but I also want, like, Ollie Jr. to beat it and look really cool. So, like, he leaves, and he goes to the Chinese martial arts tournament, and, like, another guy just does the same trick on him. And, like, so you get to see him, like, walk away, and you also get to see him beat the thing. And then it never comes up again. And his solution is like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, like, kneel down next to you, wait for you to, like, just kick at me, just weave out of the way of your kicks, grab your legs, and just punch the shit out of you. Cause, like, how are you supposed to do anything when you've got, like, a guy like that? It's like, okay, like, good use of time, guys. That's actually amazing. Ah, jeez. I think, like, there's just so... Ah, man. You need to, like, watch Baki one day, because holy shit.
Eh.
There is a man who gets, like, half his face ripped off by a roundhouse kick. And it just cuts to him in a prison cell, and he's just sitting there, just fine.
I tried watching Hajime no Ippo, which is supposed to be good, and I just wasn't really interested.
Yeah, no, this is nothing like Hajime no Ippo.
I mean, it's like a sports fighting anime. It's kind of the same thing.
Like, this is... I legitimately want to say this is closer to JoJo's, where people are just constantly doing just insane bullcrap. Like, there's a man who is basically introduced by, like, throwing up a grenade and throwing it at his opponent. Crap gets wild, man. You have to at least give it a try at some point. Like, they just, like, the Netflix anime specifically, like, they just don't care at all. Yeah. So, like, you have anything you want to talk about before we get into it?
I didn't really do anything too crazy.
Alright.
I haven't watched any new anime or anything, so.
Yeah. Alright, I guess we'll just, like, get on with it then.
Oh, excuse me.
So, oh boy, I think Digimon.
This one is rough.
Yeah, like,
It doesn't help that it's longer than the previous parts.
yeah, like, I feel like my reaction to it wasn't as bad as yours clearly is right now.
There's parts that I like.
Yeah.
There are parts that I would like, where things get kinda, get really sad. Like, just straight up, just really, really sad.
Yeah, like,
And I'd be okay with those moments if everything else wasn't so absolutely miserable.
yeah. I think this movie specifically, like, I think it got closer to, like, actually, like, feeling like a well thought out conflict than the others did, right? Because, like,
Sure.
yes, think about it, it's like, alright, how did, like, Digimon Adventure end? Like, it ended in the final arc with everyone, having to learn that it's like, oh yeah, war is terrible, and, like, our friends are dying, and we have to, like, deal with it and stuff like that. And this, in a weird way, kind of feels like a continuation of that. Where it's
there,
like...
there is something. It's not related to this movie or series of episodes, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
But it's something I forgot I wanted to mention about the previous one, and it's that they reference the Diaboromon incidents.
Yeah, do they?
Yeah, they're sitting on the
Yeah.
bus and they're like, "Oh yeah, out where Matt's grandparents live, they don't have a computer." And Matt's like, "Would you just drop it?"
Oh yeah, they do reference that, don't they?
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
they don't specifically call it out by name or Diaboromon or anything, but it's like, "Hey, remember that time your grandparents didn't have a computer?"
Yeah.
And Matt's just like, "Shut up."
Yeah. But yeah, like, to kind of, like, get back on my train of thought a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, because, yeah, it's like, the end of Adventure's like, oh yeah, all our friends are dying, we have to, like, learn to deal with that stuff. And it's like, this feels way more in line with that than, oh, will, like, Joe pass his college exams? Because this is like, okay, we've, like, learned to deal with, like, our friends dying. Like, how do we deal with the fact that our partners are dying, right? Like, what if our partners turned against us,
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So that's one of the things I like about this part. Is that, yes, it's sad that, like, oh, we might have to destroy our Digimon if they turn against us. But it's like, okay, well, they'll probably be reborn without the infection, right? So
Yeah.
so stakes are low, as they usually are when it comes to a character's partner Digimon dying.
They'll be reborn without the infection, but they'll lose their memory, which, they make a big deal about.
No, I'm talking about, like, if you destroy a Digimon straight up. I'm not talking about the reboot. Not yet.
Yeah. Well, I assume if they're, like, reborn straight up, they'll lose their memory there too, won't they?
Wormmon remembered Ken.
Yeah, that's true.
So, a Digimon destroyed will remember their partner and, like, everything about them and whatnot. But then we learn about the reboot, which is just what it sounds like. You restart the digital world, and with it, you set everything back to zero.
Yeah, essentially.
Factory reset, which means the Digimon will lose their memory of their partners. Great. Finally, some stakes that I can worry about.
Yeah.
Because that's with all the depressing stuff happening, that's probably the most depressing thing that could happen.
Like,
And
this is the closest it feels like a Digimon can get to, like, death without, like, actually, like, dying and never coming back.
yeah.
Alright, sorry, were you, like,
So,
saying something else?
uh, just that I'm glad that I feel like there are stakes.
Yeah.
Like, there was always the threat of the digital world could be destroyed, or irrevocably corrupted or something. Uh, but now that's like, okay, the digital world's in trouble, but also now so is every other reality in existence.
Yeah. Like, the big thing, this is, like, something you just have to learn super hard with Rhying, is that, like, just increasing the numbers of, like, hard, like, innocence or whatever at risk doesn't, like, make people care more necessarily.
Sure.
Yeah, the thing people care about are, like, the characters we know and the ones we're close to. So it's like, it doesn't really matter if, like, if, say, like, oh, effing, like, the Gargemon are going to go extinct or something, as much as it matters, like, oh yeah, we'll, like, Agumon forget Tai.
Yeah, because we care about the characters.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I feel like we should probably drop some context. So, like, this movie starts up, it's like, oh yeah, like, the virus is advancing. Effing, like, airplanes are, like, losing their guidance, and that's really effing bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it could be yet, because
Yeah.
pilots are able to manually land the planes. It's not as bad as it could be, but it's pretty bad.
We haven't reached full on Inuyashiki, but we're getting close. Man, we haven't reached the point where, like, effing a million 9/11s are just happening at once, but it's like a possibility.
Yeah. Also, there's a very good chance I skip over the very few slice of life moments in this one.
Yeah.
There's a point where everybody's like, "Oh, Mimi, you were so right. Your event was so fun. I should have participated." And like one of the girls that was mean to her buys her a drink. Like, who cares?
Yeah, that was, like, really pointless, honestly. Well, I guess it's nice to be like,
I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
they actually like Mimi now, but yeah.
yeah, it's fine. It's the conclusion to what happened last time, but I just don't care. Um, there is a
Yeah.
part shortly after where Mako freaks out and runs away. I guess over the guilt of what she knows.
Yeah, it seems to be what's going on, honestly.
Yeah, now that I think about it and I'm watching the scene again, um,
So, like, the big, like, thrust of this film is that, like, effing friggin', like, planes are falling out of the sky, the virus is getting out of hand, like, things are going really bad, and they're just like, alright, yeah, we're running out of time to fix this. We need to, like, solve this whole virus thing now, or, like, everything's going to be screwed.
yeah, and then the worst possible scenario happens where the Digimon partners get infected, specifically Patamon.
Yeah. Like, Patamon gets infected and becomes crazy, just monster evil Patamon for one with effing fangs.
Yeah,
Because
which is where this.
I never really considered it, but I guess Patamon is kind of a bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they jokingly call him like a pig bat or something.
Yeah, that honestly makes a lot of sense now that I think about it, because, like, Devimon, right?
I mean, they're not really. It's not like they're two sides of the same coin. It's like,
Yeah, but it's like, this is meant to be, like, the opposite of that, kind of, I guess.
yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Digimon would have teeth, so
Yeah.
of course he's got big old fangs.
He's got fangs and he bites TK, and he just sort of calms down and, like, fights off for a moment. And Paimon realizes what happened, and TK's just like, oh, it's fine, nothing's the matter, like, of course everything's okay. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah. It seems like Patamon is super oblivious to what's going on, but later we learn that Patamon is not stupid.
Yeah. Paimon knows that, like, he's going to, like, turn, and that there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Yeah. Which leads to a genuinely really sad moment where Patamon confronts TK about it, and they just kind of cry and hug until night falls, and it's like, oh man.
Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, this movie is all bad, because, like, it does have some good emotional moments. Like, I care when, like, like, Pamon's effing crying, and he's like, oh yeah, TK, you might have to take me out, He's like, make sure you do it, because I don't want to hurt anyone. And it's like, oh...
Yeah, like, even with the whole, like, oh yeah, he'll just be reborn as a baby Digimon, like, whatever. It's still sad.
Yeah.
So, so I guess it kind of goes against what I said before. It's like, even with the stakes being low, the whole process of it's like really, really upsetting.
Yeah.
And this scene, I like this scene. It's just everything else is so constantly miserable that it's like, man.
Yeah, like, so are you familiar with Toy Story 3?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Are you familiar with the term holding hands in a furnace?
I've seen that moment.
Yeah, because, like, that movie is a moment where it's like, this is the very end, it's like, oh yeah, the toys are about to die and they have no options left, and, it's like, it's the big, most desperate moment they've ever had. So it's like, oh, the toys are, like, holding hands in a furnace, and it's, like, super emotional. That feels like that moment is like half this movie.
Yeah.
Just drawn out. Half this movie is the Digimon just holding hands in a furnace, like, oh, we're going to die one way or another. Like, let's just, make the best of this while we can.
Yeah. Like, right before the scene we find out that Patamon's infected, there's a big screaming match between not TK, Izzy, Mimi, Sora, and I think Mako's not screaming, but she's in the middle of it.
Yeah. Izzy is very specifically like, oh hey, Mako, like, your Digimon was infected. Tell us, like, literally everything you know. Because, like, even the smallest detail here might actually, like, help us out just in a huge way. And she refuses to say anything because she's like, oh, but, like, I'm sad, though. And Izzy's like, no, but we don't have time for emotions, like, there are lives on the line here.
Which, I get it, TK, I keep wanting to call him TK. Izzy's really cold in that scene, and it's like, but it's not out of character for him, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like...
Like, Izzy's being, like, super logical here, but he's like, he's, like, not treating her, like, with a level of, like, I guess, like, what's the word? Like,
compassion.
Yeah, he's, like, he's not treating her, like, compassionately. He's being, like, way too, like, hard about it, really. He's not being, like, empathetic, and Mimi's like, no, but her feelings... And, like, instead of trying to, like, bridge that gap and be like, hey, like, please, we know you're hurting, but this is for the best, Mimi just is like, no, but Izzy, like, give her time and stuff. And it's like, no, we don't have time.
Yeah. So, I would be on the side of, like, oh man, chill and try to talk it out. But knowing what we know now, Izzy's right.
Like, he's super right.
So here's the thing. They don't... maybe knowing that Meicoomon is the carrier of the infection, and, like, patient zero, basically. Maybe that wouldn't help without Meicoomon. Except that I assume Mako still has her Digivice. And we know that the Digivices are linked to the Digimon... like, associated with it.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if, like, Mako's Digivice or something was, like, what infected them inside the computer or something. Well,
It
I don't know. I
looks.
guess they could have been affected before that, but still.
I'm not totally sure, but I think Mako's Digivice is unique.
Yeah, it was like a weird, like, X-shaped, like, kind of chain pattern on it on, like, the screen.
Yeah, so there's a very real chance that Izzy could have gotten information from her Digivice.
Yeah, like, if Izzy plugged the Digivice into the computer, then he could have got Mekumon's specs, and that might have, like, helped with something. Because,
Yeah,
maybe it could have been like, alright, we have, like, the data and attribute and stuff. Maybe if we, like, look at this, it'll help us, like, decode how the infection works.
yeah. Uh, we're not quite there yet, but Himikawa is super behind everything or something.
Yeah, she seems super sketchy right now. I don't know what's up with that.
uh,
But yeah, she's actively like, oh yeah, don't tell them that, like, Meicumon's the cause of the infection, you'll just figure it out eventually anyways.
yeah, which it goes back to my core issue with everything is that stop hiding information. Holy crap.
So as he goes through, he's like, oh hey, like, Mako, is there anything up with your Digimon that might help? And she refuses to talk. And, like, Paimon gets infected, and Izzy's like, well, I know. Sorry, not Izzy, TK.
You're doing it too.
Yeah. TK is just like, alright, well, I know that, like, Izzy said that if we had any information at all, it might be super helpful. But, like, I don't want people to be worried or, like, hate Patamon. So I'm just going to take Patamon home and ignore all of this.
Boy, it sure would be useful to be able to scan an infected Digimon.
Yeah. Like, what's even worse is, like, later on TK mentions, like, oh yeah, somehow my computer got infected and I had to, like, reset it to fix everything or something. And it's like, yeah, like, if he knew earlier, that might have, like, actually genuinely helped.
Yeah. Also, Izzy comes up with an idea that's such a simple idea. I'm kind of ashamed I didn't think about it. And it's that you make data backups of the Digimon's memories
Yeah.
because yeah, of course you do. They're data.
Like, if his computer can contain them, it can probably do it. Like, I'd
True,
assume so.
true. There's the issue of how much data does a memory take up.
How much, like, how do you measure the cost of a human soul?
Kinda like
Yeah, epic Full Metal Alchemist, like, issues going on, I guess. And it'd be fine.
speaking of which, I just watching this part, I realized that Matt's voiced by Vic McGinn.
Vic
The
McMahon.
guy, the guy who voices Ed.
Oh, huh. Yeah, I never actually noticed that.
Yeah, I have no idea how to say his last name.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, everyone's hiding information from each other, even the higher ups who know more than the kids do.
Oh yeah, I will point out early on they imply Ken is dead.
Do they?
Cause they're like, Willem's like, oh yeah, we should probably tell them about, like, what happened to the other children. And they're just like, they don't really need to know anything. As far as we're concerned, they're just missing. And it's like, oh, they're super dead.
Yeah, that's what the dub said is like they never mentioned the possibility that they're dead, just that they're missing.
Yeah. Like, there's some implications with that, I feel like.
Yeah, well, after what happens later, it's a very real possibility. If they weren't before, they might be now.
So do we want to just jump ahead and just, like, talk about that for a moment? Well,
The
it's like,
kids, the kids fail.
Well, I know. I mean the well, Anna, I assumed you were like going towards the kin thing, not like a
Oh,
yeah.
at the very end. Well,
It,
that what I mentioned leads to that.
yeah. So yeah, it turns out like the Digimon Emperor was not the Digimon Emperor in these movies. It was like Genai in disguise, and he's wearing black.
So I'm kinda right when I said that Ken's not a bad guy and he's testing them or like trying to make them stronger. I think I'm right. I was just wrong about it actually being Ken.
So you think like Genai's like testing them, and he's like in league with like all this stuff.
I think Genai is did what he did to get them their mega levels so they'd be stronger.
Yeah, it's trying to like draw out that like evolution from him and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's very likely that the reason they were able to beat Imperial Germon is that it wasn't Imperial Germon. It was like a fake conjured up by Genai.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It might have been the real Imperial Dramon. Like, there's a chance maybe he could have like borrowed it or like taken it or whatever for his own purposes.
Well, its colors were off.
Yeah,
It
you know
was
what?
like
That's true.
it was like purple.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of like, stuff that could really come from that, I think.
Yeah. Also, Himikawa is probably the owner of a Digivice
Yeah. Because
and
how else would she get there?
and that little pocketbook thing from Zero Two, the Digi Egg holder thing.
Right, yeah, she is the Dark Digivice.
Yeah, so that's what I yeah, so that's one thing. It might be Ken's Digivice because it was black.
Yeah. Because that was specifically his one. So it's like, if she's like, oh hey, the kids are quote unquote missing, and she has Ken's Digivice, I don't think that bodes that well for him. Either,
Alter-
yeah,
Alternatively, it's hers. I don't know why she'd have the what's it called a D terminal. Is that what they call the egg thing?
yeah, the D terminal of D3.
Yeah, the D3 is the Digivice.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
don't know. None of the kids ask her about it, by the way.
I like. I don't know. I guess the main kids wouldn't really know the Dark Digivice. Well, no, because TK's there.
Yeah, TK and Kari.
Yeah,
There's no reason that they should have looked at that and just been like, "Oh, cool, a Digivice. This will help us get back to the digital world." No
yeah.
further questions.
There should have been so many questions. So the way I look at it, there's one of two possibilities. Either like Ken is dead and she found his Digivice probably next to his dead body or whatever. Or like B Ken is alive and she has him just locked up in a cell somewhere and she's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking your Digivice. I need this for something."
Yeah. Also, Genai knows Himikawa,
Yeah.
or at least he seems to. He seems to imply that he does. Whether that means she's an antagonistic force or not is unknown at this time.
Like, there's a chance she might be a good guy. Like, maybe, maybe she's, like, on the right side and she just looks really sketchy.
It could just be that they're trying to throw us off. It's like, oh, look at all the sketchy stuff she's doing. Ooh.
Why is she of the Dark Digivice? And you look over and it's like, Ken's fine, I just let her borrow it.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems, I kind of doubt that. Maybe the kids are dead. I'm kind of leaning away from that one. I'm kind of leaning away from the idea that they're dead. I think maybe she just whether or not she can get to the digital world without the D3. I don't know. Because here's the thing about that is I don't think any rando who picks up a D3 can use it to get to the digital world.
Yeah, like, I believe you'd have to be like a chosen children or something. Or,
Yeah.
like, chosen at least.
Yeah, I knew what you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's either hers and she used it just to teleport herself, or I don't know.
So I
I'm thinking
will...
I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe she get to hitch a ride with the rest. Go ahead.
So I will throw an idea out there. We see the, like, like, at the end of the movie, we see, like, Alphamon's fighting Jessmon, the Digimon world. And it just, it's this crazy, just kind of bone-looking sword dragon thing. It looks like Hackmon's evolution. It probably is, honestly.
It is.
Alright. What if that's her Digimon?
It could be. We see Hackmon hanging out around the human world a lot.
Yeah, I feel like that'd, like, explain a lot, because Digimon can't normally stay in the human world for too long, because it, like, drains their power.
Yeah, and Hackmon looks like he's spying on people.
Yeah, so, like, maybe, like, Hackmon is her Digimon, and, like, next movie she's just gonna come out and be like, oh, hey, like, Digidestined, like, thanks for resetting the digital world. Now I can take it over completely with my virus. And, like, Hackmon comes out and, they have to, like, help defeat it. It's like, oh, we need Omnimon to defeat Hackmon. But, like, our Digimon don't have their memories back. Oh, no.
Yeah, and that brings up something else about the reset. Is that apparently you can somehow avoid some Digimon like Alphamon and Jessmon avoided it somehow.
Yeah.
Because they're fighting, and like they're fighting when they get there, and they're megas.
Yeah. Maybe it's well, no, because, like, all effing, like, Hercules Cavitarimon was in Mega form. But, Anna, maybe, like, it's because he's a Mega and he just overpowered her or something, right? Like, maybe if you're strong enough, you can just avoid getting your data wiped.
I don't think that's how that works.
It probably isn't, but, if, like, that is the explanation, then, like, I'd buy it. But, yeah, that is weird and interesting.
But yeah, also in the dub, they call them ultimate level, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, ultimate level's the effing, like, translation.
Yeah, but they've been using the American terminology the whole time.
Oh,
so
man.
I think they just got confused.
Yeah, I think they got super confused.
Also, yeah, something you mentioned is Mega Kabuterimon manages to hit Mega level, Hercules Kabuterimon.
Yeah. So, like, we should probably, like, go back at it, because I've got us, like, super off track with this.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else really to say about the rest of it? The Digimon... Okay, there is, actually.
Yeah. So, I think, like... Yeah, TK learns that Pamon's infected, and he, like, takes him back home, and he's like, oh, I can't tell the others.
And then Patamon does the smart thing and tells the other Digimon.
Yeah. So, like, here's what I'm thinking, right? This, like, I was kind of fine with it in the moment, but kind of thinking out a little bit, like, this feels extremely out of character for TK. Like, extremely so. 'Cause, like, TK cares about Patamon way more than, like, anything else. Like, we've, established in, like, O2, he's he's traumatized by the fact that Patamon died once. Like, this is a bit, Shouldn't, like, TK be going in, like, the opposite direction and be, like, desperate to find a cure?
He should. He should be like, yeah, Patamon's infected. We have to figure out how to fix this.
Yeah, like, I'd imagine TK would be, like, on the other side of things. Like, he'd be the one, like, screaming at Izzy, like, no, you have to find a cure, though. And everyone should be like, no, TK, calm down, we'll work through this. Like, that feels like how this should play out.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they want to go dark with it, like, TK should be the one who's, like, just pressing this on harder than anyone else. Because he's like, no, my Digimon's in danger, like, I don't want to go through with this, and he has to, like, learn to, like, accept that it's inevitable. But yeah, instead he, like, lies, and that leads to... that... We don't know for sure if it will have stopped the reset if he, like, didn't lie. Like, if Izzy could have, like, figured it out with more information or whatever. But, like, the way it's played is, like, it's played like TK didn't really, like, do anything that wrong by, like, lying about the infection. While, like, all the Digimon are getting, like, infected and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he kind of mentions, like, oh yeah, I'm scum, and, he's like, oh, this is my fault and all that. But it's like, it's not as, like, hard on him as it feels like it should be from, like, like, just a friggin', like, narrative and, like, directing to perspective and stuff like that. Like, the quote-unquote camera isn't, like, really pressing this. If that kind of makes sense.
Eh.
And I feel like they could have, like, gone harder on that and, made, like, more of a thing out of it. And maybe I'd be like, realize his mistake and, gain something from that. Like, make it an actual arc. And, it's so weird because, like, this entire movie kind of feels like it's TK's story. But, like, he doesn't get the big evolution in the end. Izzy does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, oh, maybe Pamon's going to hit Mega, and that's gonna let him, like, fight through the virus, and he, like, helps out to, like, get everyone in the cube. And it just doesn't happen.
Which, fine. This movie's just about as much about Izzy as it is TK.
Yeah. I'd argue it's like 60-40 in TK's favor or something, right?
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah. Like, it feels like, it's like, oh, this is the TK and Izzy arc, but it's more the TK arc. But yeah, so, like...
Maybe they're saving Angemon's big evolution for later.
Yeah.
Who to see? Oh, Seraphimon, duh.
Yeah. Or, like, or alternatively, like, effing slash Angemon or something.
It'll probably be Seraphimon.
Yeah, Seraphimon's canon.
Yeah. Also, what I was saying before, where the Digimon are meeting up and Patamon tells the rest of them. Due to the time that all those Digimon spent together, it's very likely that Patamon had already infected the others unknowingly.
Yeah. Like, especially after meeting up with the others, because, like, he just meets up and they hang out for a good bit, it seems.
Yeah, but even before that, they were hanging out in Izzy's virtual space, like, all together.
Yeah. So I want to, like, very specifically, like, point out, like, the exact order of events here, which is, like, oh yeah, Patamon, like, gathers the Digimon together, and, like, Himikawa, like, like, sees them leave the office, and she, like, goes out of her way to, like, follow them and, like, spy on them just in case.
Yeah.
And then, like, effing Patamon drops them news, they all, like, talk about it and stuff. Then Kari shows up being possessed by, like, some higher being, and she gives some weird prophecy about, like, oh yeah, like the Quantic Sea is going to reset the digital world or something. But yeah, it's like the big reboot is coming, and it's gonna, like, reset all the data. And when, like, the time comes, time will stop or something. And, like, she passes out and Himikawa shows up to keep her from, like, smashing her face on the pavement.
Which is weird because Garamon's right there.
Yeah.
Himikawa's like way further away on the steps somewhere.
Himikawa has effing super speed, cause holy crap. Like, she activated the Worldo for that crap.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. But yeah, there is something that we didn't mention, and it's that Kari's just walking down the hallway in her school, and she picks up a call from her cell phone that's not turned on and gets possessed by some digital entity.
Yeah.
Which seems to be a common trope for Kari.
Like,
getting possessed by random things.
yeah, first I think it was like one of the Digi-Elves, or sorry, not the Digi-Elves, one of like, like Genai's race or one of like, the digital humans.
Maybe.
And something like that wasn't really explained.
I don't
And
remember.
then it was like the effing dark ocean nonsense possessing her and like just leading her around and stuff.
Don't forget that time she started acting weird and glowing during the first season.
Yeah, when she was possessed. Was that one of Jai's people, or was it like something else? I actually don't know.
I don't know if she was possessed by a being or light itself. I don't know what was happening, but it's the arc where she saves the Numamon from War Manzamon.
Yeah, for all we know, it could have been like straight up Yggdrasil.
Yeah,
it could have been the will of the digital world itself possessing her to give exposition.
Yeah, point is, this happens a lot. So Kari gets possessed by what might be one of the creators, if not the creator of the digital world.
Yeah,
No, wait, we learned that humans are the creators of the digital world.
Kind of, but it's like also implied the digital world does have a god.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna assume that's like Yggdrasil or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that's like, what the lore is on that. At least I think I've like heard that from somewhere. But yeah, so like Kari just shows up, spouts off this prophecy, and like Himikawa just appears having like heard and seen just all of this. And she like explains about like the quantum ocean, and she's like, oh yeah, like essentially like there's multiple worlds. I assume it's like multiple digital worlds or like multiple realities or whatever. And the quantum
it's just a big multiverse thing.
Yeah, so there's a multiverse and the quantum oceans kind of like bridging them together, I guess.
It's the source of all of it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, the quantum ocean's just going to like, like reboot the digital world, but if it doesn't do it right, then the digital world might just be gone forever, which means that no electronics would ever work ever again. And that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, although in the version in the dub, they're like, oh, this means the human world would be destroyed entirely. I think we get by. It'd be really hard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, civilization as we know it would survive without electricity.
Like, that's a weird thing with both, like, that's a weird thing with the sub specifically, I should say, because, like, at first they're like, oh yeah, Wi-Fi technology, and they're like, as it goes on, they really like to, like, flip-flop back and forth and be like, oh yeah, like, this will be the destruction of the world. And it's like, well, no, it's the destruction of, like, technology, but, like, life goes on. Like, our world wouldn't actually be destroyed. We'd just lose all, like, data.
We'd adapt.
Yeah. We would have to, like, rely on mechanical devices and stuff, like, digital ones.
Yeah, like I said, it would be hard, but we'd get by. Yeah, it wouldn't even. Ow, crap! It wouldn't even shut down literally everything. Just anything that's run by a computer.
Yeah, we would be set back to like the Steam Age, basically, and like that would just sort of be where we'd be stuck. And so it's
we'd be pretty well off, actually.
Like, it might Well, yeah, there was a lot of like really crazy stuff back then, but it would be like, the big disaster they're kind of like implying it would. Like, it would be a huge like disaster in the short term, but then, yeah, like we'd adapt, like life would go on.
So
Like,
we're not sure if they're saying this would destroy the world or just kill the electronics.
I think they're saying it would kill the electronics, and they're like conflating that with like, oh yeah, that's like, it's the quote unquote end of the world. And they're just like trying to make it sound bigger than it actually is.
I'd be bored out of my mind, but I mean, I'd live.
You'd like find a nice like book and like you'll learn how to cook or something.
I mean,
Like,
I know how to cook.
like we'd be set back to being like, oh hey, what do you want to do? It's like, I don't know, like let's just throw a ball around and like hit some trees with a stick.
Yeah, if anything, it would force me to get in shape. um, because without electronics, oh boy, my entire way of life is just flipped.
It would be like we wouldn't even be like overtaken by nature or something, because like guns would still work, right?
Yeah.
It's like it would suck for anyone who is a pacemaker blah blah pacemaker or whatever, yeah. Like I assume all those people are just screwed, as well as like anyone on life support. But it's like we're not exactly, like Dr. Stoning the planet, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it could be way worse. But yeah, so jeez, I actually didn't really like consider this, but yeah, when Dr. Stone happens, like there'd be a lot of planes effing crashing.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
I think they kind of imply that when they're talking to the entity possessing Kari.
Yeah.
Like I think there's actually a shot of like a airplane crashing.
Yeah, like it seems like at least one does crash, but like it kind of all the passengers survive if I remember right.
No. I mean, like, there's like, while the entity is talking, it's cutting to like scenes of like tragedy and whatnot.
Oh, all right,
And
yeah.
like one of those scenes is like an airplane crashing.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, the entity leaves Kari, and the Digimon are like, okay, well, yeah, let's just reboot the digital world. We'll fix everything. But Gadomon's the only one who understands the implications of that.
Yeah. Gaumon's like, well, if the digital world's reboot, they're gonna lose all your memories. And Agumon's like, oh, can you eat those?
Yeah, Agumon, in the dub at least, is like, I get it. Digimon are always hungry. It's kind of their shtick. But Agumon is constantly talking about being hungry.
Agumon's not a smart guy. He's very basic.
He's very bad at lying too, which is why he spills the beans to Tai.
This is the Digimon that like Blackmore Greymon tried to question on the nature of the soul.
God bless Agumon, he tried.
He tried so hard. Yeah, he gave his best, damn it.
Yeah. Also, Gatomon asks the most important question to Himikawa, and it's, "Are you trustworthy?" We don't get an answer to that. Himikawa just kind of leaves.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, sorry, I had to like take Kari to a hospital just in case she is like, damaged from this or something. Just probably the most like responsible thing anyone's done so far.
But also a good way to expertly dodge the question.
Oh man.
I'm glad that somebody, even if it's one of the Digimon, is asking an important question every now and then.
Omega Triceramon does point out Agumon is a dinosaur, so of course he'd be a bit slow.
Yeah, but I mean, Garumon's a cat, and cats are idiots. Heck,
um,
Tentomon's a bug.
can you imagine like Gamon's having like a big cool like hero moment and someone just takes out a laser pointer and she just runs off? Just like, moving dot, gotta catch it.
Fortunately, Digimon are smarter than that.
Oh man. So like all the Digimon just sort of they essentially realized like, oh yeah, like for all intents and purposes, we're going to die. Cause like we're gonna lose all our memories, so we'll like stop being, the people we are right now.
Yeah, so here's what I got from this scene. And it's that there's a good way to reboot the digital world, and there's a bad way to reboot it. The bad way is Meicoomon comes back and they can't stop it. The good way is that somebody else manually does it. I don't know who.
I know, like, the implication I got is like, oh yeah, as long as Meicoomon isn't in, like, the real world when the reboot happens, then, we'll be fine.
Okay, maybe the sub explained it better.
Yeah, it's super vague, because, you see, like, Hibikawa, at, like, the office with the others and stuff, and they're looking at, like, oh, Plan R, it's, like, Operation Reboot or whatever. And
Yeah.
like it's implied that like maybe this is their doing, but then she's like the only one who can decide to do this is like the god of the digital world, or like the closest thing they have to a god or whatever. So it
Right.
implies it's like out of their hands and this is just gonna naturally happen.
Okay, so what happens later makes more sense to me then.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I said it already, but the kids fail, or at least so I had thought. Because I thought they had failed to reboot it correctly, but I guess they actually succeeded because they managed to push Meicoomon back through the portal.
Yeah, so like it's probably not the worst case scenario, I'd assume. At least that's like what the implication seems to be.
Yeah, I thought thought that they had failed completely and utterly, and they got the bad reboot because I don't know, someone like one of them didn't trigger it or whatever.
They succeed in getting like the right type of reboot because like technology isn't just screwed. So yeah. But they like failed to actually back up their memories, so like they had to like sacrifice themselves basically.
Yeah. They still have Kari's whistle.
Yeah. Which, how the crap did they find that?
It shouldn't be there. The reboot would have wiped anything not associated with. Wait. Yeah, hold on a second. Why do they have the whistle?
It really should be there, should it?
Because the whistle, Gatomon, or what's the baby form called?
No, Salmon's the rookie. Yeah, Nyamon.
Nyaramon has the whistle, but it would only have the whistle. Oh wait.
So
shouldn't it be Agumon who has the whistle? No, because
so here's what I remember. Like at the end of Adventure, like Kari gives Gatomon her whistle,
right?
And like yeah, then O2 happens, and like Gatomon kind of comes back, and she doesn't have the whistle anymore. So like, I guess this implies that Kari gave Gatomon the whistle, and she just lost it somewhere in the digital world, and then it just survived there for like who knows how long. Like it never got like phased out by like the weird eclipse thing that destroys anything not made of data. It didn't get like like lost in the ocean or something. Reboot happened. The whistle is still just around, I guess. Like I guess it just got like floated in the air for a bit, and then it just came back and just just fell on the ground in a forest somewhere. And she happened to cross it, and this is what lets the kids find their partner Digimon, and what lets them know that it's like, oh, these are the same ones that like we used to have.
Yeah. Also, they're all conveniently hanging out with each other.
Yeah. So, like...
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
So the whole whistle thing is nonsense, basically.
Yeah. I'm willing to accept that maybe they were all just friends beforehand and they just hung out with each other. The whistle thing's dumb. The whistle doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like, I believe that's like, oh yeah, they're in the same weird pocket space, so when the reboot happens, maybe that's what, like, leads them to, like, reappear as entrained Digimon in the same area. Like, maybe they all just got, like, grouped together and, like, teleported to the digital world.
Yeah. Well, the thing about a reboot is that it should have reset literally everything to absolutely nothing. So anything that wasn't there at the creation of the digital world shouldn't be there.
Yeah. I'm willing to give the series the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, you can't reboot a whistle because it's not made of data. But, like...
Maybe.
Yeah, this is very weird and very dumb, it feels like.
It's unimportant. It's stupid, but it's unimportant.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, after the scene where all the Digimon are hanging out and discussing like what they're gonna do, they all go back to their partners and they're like not wanting to tell them anything, but wanting to hang out with them a lot more because they know it's coming.
Yeah. Should we, like, go back a bit and talk about how the reboot actually goes down?
Wait, do you mean like when it actually happens, or like the explanation?
Like, yeah, the big fight leading up to it.
Well, this is before that.
Wait, no, this is, like, after they're rebooted you're talking about, with, like, the whistle and stuff.
I mean, if we want to go all the way, like, I'm just talking about the part where after they meet under the bridge and learn about the reboot.
Oh, that part. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then they all go hang out with their partners because they know what's coming.
Right. So I thought you meant like like all the tamers wanted to hang out with their partners because there's like, oh, we know like how bad this is.
Nah.
I'm still very scared about the demon Paimon on screen. I forgot about him.
So yeah, all the Digimon. I guess there's not much to talk about there. It's just all the Digimon are desperately trying to get as much time with their partners as they can. Joe is like, Gomon, you got to meet my girlfriend, and Gomon's like, will I be able to see her? Joe's like, she's real, I swear.
I 100% completely believe that Joe's girlfriend is real, because why would he be lying to his Digimon after all of this?
Yeah.
Like, of course she's real.
We just never see her for some reason.
Yeah. I did hear that, like, oh, it gets mentioned once and then that plotline goes nowhere. But this implies that, like, this is the second mention of it. So I don't know.
Yeah, Gomamon, he doesn't need to impress Gomamon. Why would he lie to him?
Yeah, Gomamon already likes him. He likes him enough to make egg ramen for Joe to cry in.
Yeah.
Turns out she is not real. I hope that's not a spoiler.
Yeah, we get to Agumon. Agumon trying to get Tai to like hang out with him. And that's when Agumon is like, really bad at lying.
His hard cut to Joe, like, just runs to a closet. He's like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. And he's like, gathering anything he can to, like, make a fake girlfriend with. He's just like, he was like, alright, I have this manga body, I have, like, a broom for hair, and here's a trench coat. Okay, done. We'll, like, draw on some eyes. Okay, hey, Gomamon, it's my girlfriend. He just like sticks the arm out of his closet. He's like, hey, how are you, old Lizzie pal? Oh man. But yeah, all the Digimon are just like, oh yeah, we're going to get infected. We have to like spend time with our partners and like, do the things we like doing one last time.
Yeah.
And a
And
lot
then
of them are like weirdly, like smart about it because they're just like, hey, is something up? What's wrong?
it's just like, I just want to hang out.
Yeah, like Goblin's just like, hey Matt, play the harmonica for me, please. And Matt's like, but I'm practicing guitar. And he's like, no, but please though. And Matt's like, yeah, okay. He's like, something's going on, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, like Agumon spills the beans.
And he's like, you can't tell anybody, Ty. And then we cut to Hackmon floating in the area that they push Mikum onto later.
Oh man. Like, I should.
Now,
Sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, leading evidence towards Hackmon maybe being Himikawa's partner. Himikawa seems to be the first person to know when a Digimon's breaking into the real world.
Yeah, that is true.
And we see Hackmon hanging out in that space watching one materialize.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I'll point out, like, crap, what was I gonna say again? Friggin' Agron spills the beans. Crap, what was I gonna say?
I don't know, something specifically about the Digimon hanging out with each other.
Crap. Wait, yeah, okay, now I remember. Yeah, like, presumably Hackmon did avoid the reboot, just as, like, Meikumon did. So maybe if you're, like, in that pocket space, then, you have, like, a chance to dodge it, right?
I don't know.
Because we see that Meikumon is just in the digital world at the end.
Yeah.
Because, like,
although
yeah.
Meikumon's not glowing purple anymore.
So yeah, like, maybe that's how it works. Maybe it's not. I'm not really sure. Maybe this isn't even our Digimon at the end. Maybe, like, Ty's just gonna, like, turn a corner and, like, Agumon just shows up. That'd be, like, just so dumb, but kind of, like, kind of great at the same time in a weird way. Agumon's like, what do you mean you couldn't recognize me?
It's just a bunch of the baby forms that turn into their partners just hanging out coincidence.
They just happen to be together and just happen to find the whistle. I think, like,
so dumb.
Modimon digivolves and he becomes like a Kunimon, and Izzy's like, wait, this ain't right.
Yeah. By the way, have we hit the spoiler you already knew?
Not yet, but we're close.
Oh, boy.
Don't want to give it away because, like,
obviously.
Yeah. I did learn a second spoiler the other day. I'm not sure if I should mention it or not, because it's like, it's way less important. It's just sort of a side detail.
How do you keep getting spoiled?
So, like, I don't want to, like, go too specifically into it, but let's just say it's like someone in the chat mentioned it. It was like, oh man. But yeah, apparently Ty has sex at some point.
Why is this what? How does that come up?
So here's the specific line of discussion. It was like, oh yeah, like, it was talking about whatever. It's like, hey, like, do people even, like, care about Mako? Like, do fans actually like her or whatever? It's like, yeah, she's whatever. Ty and Mako have sex.
Okay, I don't believe that's somebody made that.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's real or not, but, like, I don't know, it's worth throwing out just in case.
No, that's not. That's that. I can't remember who it was, but I heard one of the YouTubers I follow told a story about how they were told that, like, oh yeah, there's like there's like a sex scene in Dragon Ball Z or something, but it was just from some porn they watched. But like they believed it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember the story exactly, but it's something like that. And it's just somebody's making crap up. I don't believe that.
Omega Triceramon says it was me and it was a joke, you fucking idiot. And here's the thing, like, I don't know, and I'm not sure if I should believe that or not. Because I don't know if it's like, oh, we're trying to, like, cover up the fact that, like, a spoiler was accidentally given away, or if it's just actually like, oh yeah, like, I was just trying to make a funny, and this moron took it too far.
He made it up, because there's no reason such a thing be brought up in this series.
It's like, I can't tell, like, through text. It's like with how crazy things are going in Tri, like, I have no idea, you know, like, anything could happen, right?
No.
No.
He made that up.
Oh, man. Because I was just watching the episode, and I'm like, wait, but if Mako doesn't go in the digital world, then how's Tai going to have sex?
I can't believe you believe that. Oh my god.
How's this going to work out then?
So Meikumon shows up again.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Tentamon spills the beans to Izzy. But for pretty good reason, because Tentamon's trying to psych him up to figure something out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, look, we're all infected. You gotta kick it into high gear.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like Izzy's arc is kind of supposed to be like, oh, he's like way too focused, and he's like working himself stupid, but he's like missing the people around him, and that's like, that's why, like, he's, like, missing all these big details that I should have, like, got right, because, like, he's missing the fact that Meikumon is Patient Zero, and that's, like, the biggest clue.
Yeah, which is something I think we as the viewers already knew.
Oppo Omega Triceramon just said death needs to be slapped in the face. Like, here's like,
I could do it, but I'm not gonna.
Just and I'll also like throw like a slap sound effect. It'll be like, oh yeah, you slapped me from across the screen. All right, ready, go. Ugh. All right, there you go. That'll make sense of the YouTube upload.
But yeah, Izzy has been working like super hard on trying to figure out a way to stop the infection. To the point where Joe shows up and there's just like a crap load of like food wrappers and like empty bottles all over the place. And like, I think Joe walks in and Izzy's like asleep at his computer or like nearly dead from exhaustion. Exaggeration, he's not actually. But yeah, he's like, how long have you been awake working at this? And Izzy's response is, when was the school festival? Which I think has been 1 or 2 days at this point.
Yeah. Like, Izzy isn't looking that great. He's got, like, weird bags under his eyes. He, looks sickly. Like, he looks like he's about to pass out. He's like, oh, Joe, please give me tea.
Yeah, and he just chugs an entire bottle of black tea in, like, a second. Joe's like, dude, go take a nap. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, like, after Tilmon confesses, Izzy does kind of figure out something, which is like, oh yeah, like, the way the virus is screwing with machinery is it changes binary code to, like, digital language, but we don't know what, like, number set value it's based on, so I can't fix it unless I translate it.
Yeah, basically, it changed the entire programming language. So yeah, without knowing the basis of it, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Basically Y2K to some extent. Kinda, well, not really, but still.
Not really. Um, so Tentamon brings up the whole reboot thing, and that gives Izzy the idea of backing up their memories.
Yeah. And if only they knew about this like a second earlier, like they probably could have saved everyone.
Would have been really useful.
Yeah, it would have been super useful. But now everyone's like, I'll ask a question. How is Davis more socially conscious than anyone in Tri right now?
I don't know.
Because that's during that moment where it's like, Davis, like, is just, like, with the group, and they're all like, oh, those black towers sure are, like, horrible and stuff. And he notices that it's like, like, upsetting Ken and, like, making him feel like an outsider. And he's like, hey, we should, like, have a sleepover, right? Yeah, come on, Ken, let's do it. And he, like, kind of, like, gets him back on board.
Yeah, friends.
Yeah. And like there's a super similar situation where like they're talking about the virus and no one notices that like Mako's just slowly backing away just super sadly.
Yeah. They're talking about like the virus and going over to Izzy's to pick up their Digimon, and it'll be a big happy, like it'll be like we're sending them to daycare while we're at school. We're basically their parents, ha 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 ha. And then Mako's just like sulking in the corner and nobody realizes.
So Trixiermon asks, did any of our Digimon in the main cast go berserk besides Pavon? And the answer is pretty much all of them.
Yeah, even the one I think the Digimon who spends the least amount of time crazy is well, I was gonna say War Greymon, but I think it's actually Hercules Kabuterimon.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even think he fully changes at all.
There, Hercules Kabuterimon seems pretty immune. Like, he kind of fights off super well.
Yeah. Also, boy, is everybody lucky that Angemon decided to spam Hand of Fate uh, instead of Heaven's Gate and just throw. Oh wait, that's Magna Angemon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, he doesn't go Magna Angemon, so everybody else is really lucky that he didn't just throw them into another dimension.
So yeah, like I think Meikumon shows up and they all are like, okay, we have to stop her before like, this goes crazy. So
Yeah.
they all like go fight Meikumon, which probably speeds up the infection, honestly, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Cause
If not that, it at least triggers evolution and turns Meikumon into Furrybaitmon.
yeah, Meikumon like first things first, they try to like go after Meikumon champion mode. And I'm just like, no, but we don't have time for this. Why aren't you going ultimate?
Yeah.
Like, the question why no ultimate has never been like more pressing than it is right now. Cause like
Okay. I had this issue too. I was like, you need to go as strong as possible immediately. Uh, but after the result, after the way it ends, everybody gets infected and starts going berserk. It'd be kind of a problem if everybody was mega and going nuts.
yeah, but at the same time it's like most of the kids don't know their Digimon are infected.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So like this like it works out this way purely just for the sake of like, make it like possible that Hercules Kabuterimon can push them all back in the portal. Like it's purely for like plot convenience so that like Hercules Kabuterimon can at least have his moment.
Yeah, and it's believable that like maybe he could handle them.
Yeah. What's really crazy is there's like a way better way to deal with this, which is like if this is just happening for, like, the sake of the plot, they're like, alright, here's a plot alternative. Have only, like, half the group go infected, and then have the other group try to fight them off, but it's too much, so we need Hercules Cavaterimon.
Yeah.
Because, like, you could have, like, this infection effective in, like, any order you want. Like, like, I could believe that some of these Digimon have, like, more of, like, a defense instant than others.
Yeah. Metal Greymon holds out like a pro.
Yeah, jeez.
Like, he doesn't go fully infected until, like, right at the end, and he almost immediately snaps out of it.
Yeah, like, effing, like, Meicumon's just a champion for her. There's like, oh yeah, Togemon will stop her, and Togemon clearly can't stop her, and she goes ultimate, and they all know she's gone ultimate.
Or at least they should.
Yeah, they should all be super aware of this because Mako told them. Like, Meikumon's, like, form that she hangs out in is the champion form.
Yeah. And then, and then she digivolves, and it's like, oh, she's ultimate now. They should know this.
Man, I actually started worrying now. Like, should I have just made Meikumon's ultimate form the thumbnail? Because you just know that's going to get way more attention.
Just make it the thumbnail on YouTube.
You know what? Screw it. Why not?
You can choose a specific image, which, you make your own custom thumbnails, so of course you knew that.
Yeah, I usually just go with the one that's, like, on the podcast. But honestly, yeah, screw it, yo. Like, let's get in those Lola Bunny fans. Just that specific part of the fandom. Ah, jeez.
Let's get the Renamon fans.
You know what, like, Romon's got nothing on this, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate being like, oh yeah, the friggin' the Renamon fans, the weirdos.
Yeah.
I like Renamon's cool.
Yeah, I love Romon. Romon's great. Like, I'm a Romon fan, but not in that way.
Melcrackmon. May Crackmon?
Male Crackmon?
That's... I was curious to see what this form's name is. I think that's a May Crackmon. Vicious mode.
Ah, interesting.
Wait, debut, Digimon World Next Order.
Wait, what the crap? I don't remember that.
Did Next Order come before Tri? I don't think it did.
It might have, and maybe in Japan.
Maybe.
I don't think that's a form you can get. Maybe it's DLC or something.
I don't know. It's... Hold on, I'll post a link. I'm not reading anything about anything about it on the side. I'm just looking at the picture.
That's probably smart, actually.
Yeah, there it is, in Discord.
Is that it? I think that's it. I don't know. I'm not completely sure. Because it looks similar. Okay, yeah.
That's it, because there's two forms that champion Meikumon digivolves to.
Alright, yeah.
There's also a May Crackmon that's not that.
Huh.
And yeah, that's not... I don't think it is.
Yeah. Right, I thought it might probably just be, like, the style, because in, like, effing, like, in friggin' Digimon Tri, like, they can have sex erupt way more than that. Like, holy shit. Like, I feel like I'd struggle to think of something that, like, just went for furry boobies way harder than that. That's pretty out there. But yeah, so, like, they're all, like, turning one by one, and, like, effing friggin' Cavaterimon can't, like, hold them off in ultimate. So he's like, hey, Izzy, it's been great knowing you. He's like, it's frustrating that you don't know things, but I feel like that just makes it, that much more, like, engaging to learn new things, doesn't it? And Izzy's like, where are you going? He's like, no, don't do it. And, like, friend Tintomon turns into his mega form. And, like, I weirdly heard that's like, oh yeah, like Hercules Cafeteriamon's quote-unquote fight isn't that great. But it's like, yeah, that's because this isn't really a fight, it's a character moment.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was like a character moment, like, I feel like this is really strong, because it's like, like, he just goes for it, and he's like able to push them back, and he's struggling, but he's like, he's doing it, And he just barely gets them inside in time, but he can't quite, like, get them to the cube to, like, back up the data. So it's like...
And that's another thing, Izzy, to back up their memories, Izzy spawns, like, a cube that they have to be inside to analyze them.
Yeah. Like, he just does this, and it's like, I assume he does it over the course of, like, about an hour or something. Like, it's super fast.
It's like, whatever. It's Izzy needed a way to potentially combat it.
So here's the thing, this is fast enough that, like, if everyone just told him about the reboot immediately, he could have just had this ready.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if they didn't lie, he could have, like, saved everyone. Well, at least everyone we care about. Like, effing Ogremon's screwed.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be reborn. It's fine.
Man. Like, I can't feel bad for Ogremon, because, like, he actively decided to change his ways. And, he became, like, a cool samurai with, like, the hat and stuff. He's walking off with the cloak, just like, until we meet again, like, I'll remember everything you guys have done, all that stuff. And the very next...
Ogremon went through character development.
And, like, the very next time he appears, he's, like, super evil, and he's back to fighting Leomon because virus. And they're just like, oh, well, I guess he'll just get hit by the reboot then.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Man. Really, like, every, like, effing Andromon, Like, there's... Oh, man.
Oh, man. All of their friends.
Effing Andromon's just, like, fighting off just, like, infected Gardevoir somewhere, trying his best to just keep them in line. And the reboot just happens, and he gets wiped.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's so... Like...
Say goodbye to Digitamamon's character development.
Oh, no. Damn it. Oh, I like Digital. Like, the effing, like, the Tapermon at the noodle shop. Just gone. He never learned to say anything other than food orders. Ah, jeez, that sucks. Effing. Would be funny. Would be effing, like, hilarious. Like, you're seeing, like, all your friends get wiped, and it's somewhere out there, It just cuts to, like, the, like, reborn, like, new forms of, like, effing, like, Mummymon and, like, Arcanimon just scheming it up. And they're just like, hey, what's that big energy wave coming towards us? And, like, reboot happened.
I'm not so sure I don't know that they got reborn because of the weird circumstances of their creation.
Yeah. And,
I mean, maybe.
Like, it'd be nice if they got reborn and got a second chance or something. somewhere out there, you just see like Myosmon finally like evolves from like an effing like Demi Devimar or something. He's like, all right, I'm back. I'm going to ruin the day of those kids. The night will win this one, and like the reboot wave just comes past. He's like, alright, now that I stand, if I can steal one of those Digicores, then maybe I can, it's like, plan over. You just go over. It's like, I think Piedmon just finally appears. He's like, I'm gonna get that War Grant, like, reboot wave. Oh, man. It's like they come back with their... Wait, no, Paimon's trapped in another dimension. He's gone. Alright,
yeah, Piedmon's, he's out of here.
Machinedramon's just off somewhere. He's like trying to rebuild the Metal Empire, and like he just gets wiped. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think I finally understand why the digital world is constantly in danger now.
Why is that?
Cause like every time you defeat a villain, they just come back as an in-training Digimon, and they just start scheming again.
Yeah, but the only time that's really happened is with Myotismon.
Oh man. Like, how unsurprising will it be if, like, before they took out Piedmon, like, someone else beat him before and he learned from his mistakes, and that's why he's more of a threat now?
Alright. I got you a couple of screenshots that maybe you might want to use for your thumbnail.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, those are some screenshots, alright. I'll have to, like, watch back through the episode, because I feel like if I zoom in at the right moment, I could probably get something better.
Okay.
But yeah.
This is just from the moment Mekumon digivolves.
Oh god. Omega Triceramon just said the solution to that, my friend, is spawn killing. You just kill Piedmon. You go like the effing like digital world, like effing like the primary village. Sorry, yeah, the primary village. It's just like, hey, did an egg just appear at this exact time? And it's like, oh yeah, it's this one. And then just go over and take like just like a steel effing like tire iron. Just beat the egg into the ground. It's like, alright, problem solved. Come back from that, why don't you? Jeez. There's like going through primary village, there's like, oh, which one of these is Puppetmon? And you just hear a voice, it's like, Chai! And it's like, that's him, let's get him, guys! Jeez. So, yeah, reboot happens. Man. So, like, I will ask a question. Because, like, I had a bit of a moment with this, like, movie. As the moment where it's like, they mention the word reboot. And I'm just sitting here like, wait, is Digimon 2020 canon?
No. No, not to this universe.
Yeah.
Unless the kids get rebooted.
But yeah, there's a moment where it's like, oh, it's Project R, and I was like, got weirdly hyped because it's like, wait a minute, like, is this film series going to end with the reboot? And that's why, like, Digimon 2020 is a thing.
No, because there's the next series coming up, or the next movie. I think it's just a movie.
Man, that would have been, like, way too clever, holy crap.
I mean, it also wouldn't make sense, like I said, unless
Yeah,
the
it would
kids...
be very nonsensical and weird, but, like, it would be like, oh, did they plan this the entire time?
Nah.
Did they, like, think, like, years ahead for, like, this sequel series? Like, is it just gonna end on, like, a crazy Akira note where, like, the world just gets screwed and, you know, it's just, like, up to your imagination what happens next?
Yeah. I think we'll get... Despite how miserable this series of movies has been, I think we'll get a happy ending.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably should have been, like, you know, let that thought take place, because I know the last evolution is a thing. So,
Yeah,
like, yeah, it can't.
That's kind of a problem watching this, is like, well, as far as I know, everybody has to survive because the movie.
So yeah, like, everyone's just sort of like, oh yeah, yo. Like, the reboot happens, everyone's kind of, like, depressed, but life kind of goes on. Izzy says, like, a really weird line, which is, like, he asks if, like, TK's D3 has reverted. And he's like, alright, yo, it'd be good if that D3 reverted, because, yo, then, like, maybe that would mean something, or whatever. And it's like, is he implying that the reboot didn't take place? Like, what?
Oh, okay. The dub worded it differently. They said something like something about the Digivices reactivating.
Yeah.
I think the implication being that, like, that would indicate that the reboot is finished and the digital world can be, like, gone to again.
Yeah, like, I feel like the implication is, like, alright, if the D3 hasn't reverted, that means there's still a problem, I think. But, like, is that how this works? How would you know that? What?
Yeah. I don't know. Izzy is, like, the only person, while everybody's moping around, Izzy's, like, the only person who's, like, still hopeful that they can fix it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is really bummed.
Oh, man.
I mean, Izzy's probably bummed out too, but I mean...
Yeah. And, like...
He's trying.
Yeah. At least Mimi's trying to cheer people up. Because she, like, sends the message to Mako on the text. It's like, I got, like, rained on today. Isn't that crazy? Ha ha ha. With a bunch of, like, emojis. And, you know, it's like, Mimi's trying. She really is. Yeah, she can't quite do it, but boy, is she trying.
Yeah. And basically this leads to the moment where I mentioned that, what's her face?
Himikawa.
Himikawa, that's her name. She's like, okay, here's a Digivice. I can, it'll activate with your crests or something.
The crest that I want to point out none of the kids have.
The crests are associated with their Digivices.
It's like, oh yeah, we just need, like, the power of your crests. You know, those things that were destroyed and that you gave away later on, so you double shouldn't have them.
Oh, their tags are gone, not the crests.
No, it's both.
Clearly they still have their crests in their heart or whatever. Because
like,
because when they put their Digivices at the D3, it activates them.
It's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't matter, but it bugs me so hard from a continuity standpoint, because the series can't make up its mind on whether they have them or not. Because it's like, at the end of effing Adventure, it's like, oh yeah, we all have the crests in our hearts, and as long as we're together, we could do it. And like in O2, it's like, well, can't go ultimate, sorry man, you know, we have no crest, nothing we can do. And now, like, they're together again, it's like, oh yeah, like, we can do it, guys, we have the power of the crest behind us. We can digivolve whenever, guys. Like, holy shit. Oh, man.
Also, before Himikawa pulls out the Digivice and they go, there is a scene where they're all meeting together, and the kids are like, "Yeah, we have to do this. We have to go to the digital world and find our partners and whatever." And Himikawa is like, "Okay, I'll go cause a diversion where the gate was, because I guess the implication is that they've got guards there or something. I don't know."
Yeah.
And Himikawa walks off, and then we cut to her, and she's like smiling because doing the "oh, I might be evil" thing.
Yeah, so, like, I'll kind of, like, I guess I can't really change my prediction from earlier or whatever, but I will, like, at least, like, just say that, yeah, she's probably super evil.
I'm going the opposite. I think they're trying too hard to push that she is.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Because they constantly, like, this is they did the thing where, like, oh, things are looking bad, and then she smiles, and it's like, oh, what's up with that? And then she walks away, and it's like, she's given this look, it's like, oh, everything's going according to plan, and she's, like, smiling about it and whatnot.
Yeah. So I guess we're in the predictions section now, right? Because I don't think there's much else we really want to talk about.
Yeah, we already talked about the actual end of the movie. There is a scene. There is something weird about the digital world, and there seem to be like weird glitches going on.
Yeah, so things aren't like finished yet.
Yeah, it could just be like a byproduct of like, oh, this is the birth of the digital world, so things aren't loaded in all the way yet or something.
Which means the virus can take root even easier now.
I mean, yeah. If it's still a baby program and there's less defenses, yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like, they're totally gonna make Himikawa super evil. Because, like, last time we thought that, like, they basically confirmed that the virus was coming from Meikumon. In this movie, they, like, build it up like it's supposed to be this giant plot twist, right?
Even though we already knew.
Yeah. So I'd completely buy the, like, like, the writing is just not subtle enough to the point where it's like, we think it's way more obvious than they believe it is.
Yeah, it could just be that Himika was smiling evilly because she's evil.
Like, it could just be like, they're like, they don't think people are gonna catch on, so they're just like, oh man, this is gonna be such a good twist, though.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and yeah. Did the Royal Knights get rebooted as well?
Alphamon and Jesmon are fighting when they get to the digital world.
We know Alphamon's fine, at least. No idea about any of the others.
It is worth noting that Jesmon is a Royal Knight.
Yeah, so maybe Royal Knights just are, like, exempt or something. Like, maybe that title actually means more than we think.
You know what? If they work specifically for Yggdrasil, they might have been there from the creation of the digital world.
Yeah, like, maybe Yggdrasil has, like, specific, like, protection for them because they can't get infected or something like that. Like, something to that effect,
Yeah. It is worth noting that if Himikawa's being good or evil makes this an interesting scene, because it means that Alphamon opposing Jesmon, like, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because if Jesmon is her Digimon, then oh boy.
Yeah, things are gonna get really interesting.
And
one of the last things we see is Meikumon hiding in the bushes, watching everything.
But how? Because Imperial Drawn Paladin mode founded them. Well, not necessarily in this continuity, I feel like. Because Imperial Drawn Paladin mode, like, might not even be a thing, really. Like, now it's like, Davis's Digimon.
Yeah, dunno. Um, also, when quote unquote the Digimon Emperor finally talks, the voice that came out of his mouth shocked the crap out of me. So I'm like, that's not Ken. And then the disguise drops, and I'm like, oh, it's Genai.
Of course. It was Genai all along. Man. I'm so excited for the next movie, because I'm sure I'll be able to talk about that spoiler I heard then. The one I've been, like, building up this entire time.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it's in the sub or not, but the last thing we see is Meikumon. And more importantly is that she seems to remember Mako.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because they also avoid the wipe.
Yeah, and when I say Meikumon, I mean, yeah, Meikumon, like champion form Meikumon.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess we're on the prediction sections now.
I mean, I've predicted about all I can with the information given.
In a weird way, I feel like I was kind of right.
What was your prediction?
Like, I predicted, like, oh yeah, what if, like, one of the Digimon die? And this kind of is, they basically died. Like, they weren't specifically killed, but, like, this is more of a consequence than actual death, so, like, they are reverted. Like, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, true.
Like, technically speaking. Like,
also,
unless they just get their memory back out of nowhere via some power of friendship bullcrap.
I mean, they probably will, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, because we don't have time for them to rebond and go through all their Digivolution stages again.
Joe finally gained his Mega form, and then it did not help them out find Meikumon, and then his Digimon was reset.
I think I know how it's going to happen.
How?
Genai has a backup of their memories.
Yeah, I could see that. Interesting.
It's such a simple solution.
Yeah. You want to make that like a prediction?
Sure. Genai has the Digimon partner's memories, and he's going to give it back at some point.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. Let's see. Effing... We're kind of go with this that we had Galray, because, like, we predicted, like, oh yeah, Jessmon's who he calls partner. What's the guy's name? Like, Oikawa or something? No, wait, that's not, whatever.
I was the gloomy dude from 02.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? The teacher?
Yeah.
My prediction for him is that he's not going to be relevant again. I mean, he'll probably show up, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like he's not gonna do anything.
I'm gonna guess I want to predict that, like, I don't think I want to rescind my prediction that he's, like, quote-unquote evil, but I think he's going to be more morally gray. I think he's gonna be like, oh, he's with Himikawa and she's the bad guy, but he's also like, hey, I don't want to hurt you, Tai, because, he definitely seems like very out of the loop right now.
Yeah, he also seems to genuinely care about the kids. Like, yeah, there's the moment where it's like, how come you didn't tell us that Meikumon was the origin of the infection? And he says, if I knew, I would have told you. Yeah.
But yeah, like, I'm leaning way more towards, like, where you're, like, implying they might go right now.
Yeah. No spoilers about Jessmon.
Yeah, please.
If it's based on knowledge you already know about, like, Tri.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just don't spoil anything.
Man, like, I'm just thinking, like, what was the next movie even going to be like? Because we only have, like, 2 Digimon to fight, right?
I mean, there might be an even greater threat. Also, like Mekumon might not actually be the origin of the infestation. It'll be whatever infected Mekumon.
Yeah. I feel like I still want to stick with the idea that it's like, oh yeah, like Mekumon is a fan-made Digimon by like Mako or whatever, and that like that somehow caused her to like be infected and like create the virus somehow.
I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I'll like kind of like go a different route with that. I'll say like Mekumon was like created by like the effing military, by this like, you know, this weird like Digimon adjacent like group of people in suits. Like they somehow made Mekumon, and because they made Mekumon wrong, she like had the virus. And like, you know, she like broke out of the lab or whatever and then became Mako's partner. Like,
it would be interesting that like the a created Digimon has a virus, and that's what caused all the problems. But there is the fact that in a separate series, a kid specifically made a virus type, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting parallel.
Also, just on a whim, I went and watched the first episode of Tamers again. But this time subbed, so I get new context or whatever. I don't remember if it was in the dub or not, but I forgot that Takato was like, yeah, he'll be a virus with a special attack to rival Agumon, and he's the strongest rookie. And it's like, oh, he's kind of Mary Suing it a bit, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
Which he's a kid. He's like an elementary school kid. It's accurate. Of
course.
Yeah,
it makes complete sense. And like, then Guilmon became one of the best characters ever, and I love him.
Guilmon's great.
He's so good, though.
All right.
So sorry, what?
That's about all I've got to say about this.
Any final thoughts on like, you know, did you like the film or whatever? Or like,
I'm so tired of it being so depressing.
Yeah, I feel like I came out of it higher than you.
I almost hope that the next movie is an entire arc of them reacquainting themselves with their Digimon and just doing fun things around the digital world.
Yeah. Man, like, I don't want to say, like, I completely like the new direction, but it's like, I can kind of appreciate what they're doing here, even if they're not doing it, like, really well at all. Like, they're floundering, but, like, I can at least appreciate the effort, I think.
At least the story's going somewhere now.
Yeah. Like, I enjoyed it enough in the moment, but, you know, it wasn't, like, you know, yeah.
Previous episode is pure slice of life with, like, a fight.
Yeah. I feel like the dark tone in this one didn't get me down as much as, like, the last episode, because holy crap.
Yeah.
That just pushed it so hard, and this feels so much more like, I guess I'll say, like, justified. Yeah, it feels more fitting, I feel like I'll say.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, I guess that'll be it then, unless you have anything else to add.
Oh, that's all.
Alright, I guess I'll see you guys around.
Later.
Later!